I'm in the shed with all my spare G-WIZ parts that I essentially took out of the blue G-WIZ. Now what crossed my mind last night is that I have these are very, very, very powerful fans that can be used to cool the motor. Right, so here's the progress so far. I've found a bit of metal, because the thing is the fan blows this way, so I've just put a piece of metal on there to stop it from getting in the way. And what I've actually found is just a bit of angle aluminium to fix it up, and I'll show you where it's going to go. Right, so what I've realised is that there is enough clearance down this side here if I was to fix this here, and on the top of there's a bolt, there's a thread that I can fix a bolt to. So I'm just going to get a piece of something to go across and clamp the fan into place here. Now what that will provide is airflow going straight along the fins, which is what the other fan would have done. So that's the plan. I was going to try and screw it up there, but it's a little bit awkward to do that. Right, so there's the progress so far. I've just bolted the fan straight to the thing on the motor, and then the bottom I have simply cable tied to the chassis, to the A-frame, and all that's left now is finding somewhere to wire this up. This is everything hooked in. As you can see, it's fixed via the bolt on the top. I didn't have one short enough, so I just added a nut on top of there. I've cable tied it all up. I've actually been in order to insulate all these screw connectors I've been putting in, I've just been using some old bike inner tube just to keep them dry. Now I've cable tied it up here, and it's all wired into here. Now this cable should be thick enough for it, looking at it, so I've wired it into the reverse light circuit, except I've wired the negative up to the constant on, so that whenever I turn the key on the car, this fan comes on. So let's go ahead and do that. Right, so turn the key and you can hear it come on immediately. So there we have it. And that fan is actually quite powerful. It's blowing air all over the motor. So if that doesn't cool it, I don't know what will. So, testing time. I've got the fan on, it's running quite well. I can hear it in the back. So hopefully that's going to keep the motor nice and cool. Now what I've also got here, I ordered it on Amazon yesterday with next day delivery, is a GPS speedometer. So I've set that up to miles per hour hopefully, and that will give me a reading. So as I said from yesterday, the MOT, it doesn't even matter about the odometer apparently, they'll just keep writing the same figure on the MOT each year. Speedo wise, I now have this GPS hood, so we're at 70%, so we're okay. So I'm going to, we're going to go for a drive. We're probably going to go on the motorway again and see how it functions and what kind of speed we were actually doing. So without further ado, let's take it for a spin. 50 miles an hour most of the way up here. I tend to stay around 40-45 on country roads, but this Speedo isn't very good. This Speedo isn't very good. It seems to climb a little bit slowly, so it's not very accurate. I mean, it's accurate if you're holding a speed, but it's a bit slow at readings, so it's we'll see. I think it's enough just so that I know how fast I'm going, but it's a little bit distracting that it doesn't seem to register real time like an odometer would. Maybe I'll get the odometer fixed one day, but for now this will work. So yeah, let's head up onto the dual carriageway. What I love about this now is that this car now runs and keeps up with traffic. I'm literally doing 50 mile an hour on a semi-main road right now. So here we go. Let's give the dual carriageway a go and see what speed we're actually doing in the car. Foot down. Almost at 60 already. Damn! 61. Let's see if I can see how stable it stays. 62. Something's making a noise. Don't know what that was. I think it was just something, the wind getting in somewhere. Oh damn! I almost hit 70 in a G-WIZ. 70! 70 miles an hour in a G-WIZ. But it feels a bit unstable at that point, so I'm slowing down. Any little bit of camber at 70 kind of throws the car about. So 60 is plenty. So this must be the fastest G-WIZ around right now with an electric motor, aside from the one that Top Gear decided to blow up. I think it would be a bit more stable after I do some work to the putting more weight into the front. And maybe it could do with softer tyres because it's lighter now. That might be a big reason why it is a little bit unstable. Is the tyres are pumped quite high based on the original battery pack. So let's pull over and have a look at stuff. go and just pull over here again, and then we'll take a look. We'll take a look at everything. Now, as you can see, everything seems to be okay. The fan's still going. So I don't know what that noise was, unless I left a tool or left something somewhere on this car, and it may have fallen out when I took off onto the motorway. But everything seems okay in terms of yeah, everything seems okay in terms of what I done. So I don't know what I lost when I don't know what I lost when I was on the motorway, when I was on the dual carriageway. Something loosened up somewhere, but it seems like the car itself is intact. So yeah, maybe it is just a case of softening the tyres, perhaps, because I haven't got the extra 200 kilos of batteries in here. It may benefit from that, and maybe that will help in terms of handling. And also, when I was at faster speeds on the front of the car, it's just so light up there, so yeah. But how about that, folks? I did 70 miles an hour in a little G-WIZ. So far so good. Right, so we're driving back into the garage now, and the good news is that it hasn't cut out this time. It has not cut out this time. So yeah, we have had a success. This car is running. It's still running. It hasn't cut out. so I'm pretty certain that it was the motor that needed that extra cooling. So there we have it. It's 70 miles an hour and it was still climbing, it was still going faster. I just wish the G-WIZ was more stable and safe to kind of do those speeds, but it's not. So 60 is the max that I really will be doing in it. But that is insane, 70 miles an hour. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I guess the next steps now is tidying everything up and making sure that everything else is kind of functioning and all good mechanically wise. I've got to get this window sorted at Going Green at some point because it was leaking, and get all the corrosion treatment done. But no, we basically have a fully functioning G-WIZ with a Selectria Force 12 kilowatt motor installed. Just as I finished this video, guess what happens? I went to reverse the car after standing it still for a couple of minutes, probably because of coming down the hill with the regen, but now I have basically got no power into the, it just doesn't want to run. So even with a fan on it, so how on earth am I going to fix this? Like, the only thing I can do is after a long drive is to set it for 10-15 minutes and then I can drive again. But right now the thermo switch must have gone, and now despite the fan, the motor's still overheating. So I have absolutely no idea how to resolve this, because if this happens, I've only been on a short drive, and if this happens all the time, that's going to be a bit awkward. It's perfectly fine when you're driving, but as soon as you stop and sit for a while, it starts to do this. So I'm a little concerned, and what I'm worried about is if I'm stuck in traffic and I've been driving and I'm stuck in traffic, what am I going to do when this starts doing this? So yeah, I am at a bit of a loss at the moment. I need to figure out a reliable way for this motor to keep running, because right now I've cut everything out of the way. There's loads of air vent space, there's a fan, quite a good fan, and I'm still having problems. So yeah, it's going to be a big issue if I'm in traffic and it does this on me. So I don't know. I don't trust taking this out for any long journeys right now, which is the sad thing. I just don't trust it. So yeah, back to the drawing board, I'm afraid.